I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And we are really lagging up here on my OBS today. Don't know what's going on up there. But, you know, we will get it going and go from there. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And apparently, I missed an anniversary yesterday. The anniversary of this guy. The anniversary of Mr. Chester Bennington passing away yesterday. On the 20th. We missed that anniversary. But we have this original available. We do have t-shirts available and canvas prints available of this piece as well. So, get it before it's gone. But yes, Mr. Chester Bennington passed away yesterday, 7/20. Today is the 21st. And yes, Lincoln Park just isn't the same as it was without his crooning voice, nor his other band that he was in as well. So, there you go. All right. So, a lot of new cool stuff is starting to happen. Just got off of an interesting phone call. Not yesterday, but the day before. Yeah, Saturday. So that was kind of cool. Can't give a whole lot of new details on that yet, but just know it involves some sponsorship. So that's kind of cool. That will be fun and exciting. But welcome to the show, everybody. Please like, share, and follow. That helps us out here. All right, so now, thanks for the likes, and good morning, Mr. Roy Joe. Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt, Bradley Twilight Jr., welcome to the broadcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so we're going to run down through the shirts that are available for order right now. We got the one that I wear normally, not the one that I'm wearing today, but my Joker shirt. This was my actual number 2 painting of the Joker right here. It is available for you right now. We also have the American Horror shirt based off of the 1930 American Gothic painting with Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein with the Frankenstein castle behind. And then flip that one over, flip that one over. Then, of course, what I just showed you in painting form, the Mr. Chester Bennington shirt is available based off of my artwork. That's what we do here. How's it going over there, Thunder fan? Thanks, Roy. And then the very first painting of the Joker that I did that actually sold right off the bat, it is available in shirt form as well. A very maniacal look as well as the first one. I'm going to put those together. And then we got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Last Ronin style going on right there. Again, if you're interested in any of these shirts, hit me up in DM and we will get you some shirts ordered. And actually, I'm going to put this next one together with this one right here. The Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch. Right there. Get you some Ivan Moody. Do you think occasions are just as smart as Asians? You might want to change that to possibly Caucasians, maybe. I don't know. Your question, Mr. Howard the Duck here. Get him the original Howard the Duck, not the one that you see in the CGI versions of things. Mr. Dexter. The episode dropped Friday the 18th. Was pretty good. He got to take care of a dark passenger. But Mr. Dexter is available. Again, thank you for the likes. Mr. Art the Clown, I've got somebody on TikTok who's actually wanting to order one of these from one of my posts. So that's going to be exciting. Apparently, she's going to be meeting this Mr. Thornton at a show. And she wants to get it autographed. And then the Crow. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be having some new shirts arrive. I've got a new order coming in for Mr. Kirk Holt, who ordered some of the original Joker shirts that I have going on. Miss Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. I got another order getting ready to go out on this one as well. I got to get it ordered up. And then right here, last but not least, my Bad Habit Naughty Nun series right here. This one is cool, very awesome. I'm looking forward to wearing that shirt myself. So there you go. Now, like I was saying, got a phone call Saturday, and very exciting stuff. It's some stuff that I've got to mull over. It does happen to include sponsorship, including booth space and things of that nature, at conventions, at comic book conventions, and things like that. So it's a lot to mull over. It's a lot to think about. Just because, you want to do your own thing. Sometimes the money just isn't available right off the bat. And, so you look for those sponsors that can, offset the cost of the tables, your travel expenses like hotel, your booth space, and things of that nature. And in return, you're putting their company name on your booth spots, like on your banners, on your table runners and table covers and things like that. So that they're getting recognition, you put a little something out, a little pamphlet out with their information on it. So if people want to pick that up, they can and be like, "Hey, what's this company about?" Those type of things. And so that opportunity is arising at this point in time, and so that is it's a very cool and interesting thing. But on the same token, does that limit me later on whenever I want to do my own thing? Because if I put my comic book under this title, under this company's title, under this sponsor's title, yes, I'm retaining the rights. It'd be like Image Comics. Each individual creator retained the rights of their creation, but it was just all printed under Image Comics. And that's kind of what this creator is trying to do. He's trying to get X amount of people under his moniker title, and we all retain the rights of our books, but that entity takes care of booth space at conventions and things of that nature. And we are responsible for the sale of our product, at the table. So, it is a lucrative thing. It is a good thing. But then on the flip side too, it's just like, well, do I want to be tied down to this title? I've got my 412 Productions, and do I want to add that title to it? So those are the things that you got to mull over whenever these type of opportunities arise and get dropped in your lap. Because I told him I give it serious consideration, and I am. Um, because that's a pretty good thing actually. Um, and the bad part about the whole situation is I don't have anything ready from my standpoint. My comic book's not ready yet. My character developments aren't completely done yet. Um, I'm only 18 pages in on book one, those type situations. And so, it's like, well, what, 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 what avenue do I take here? I have this grand opportunity to be able to go to more comic book conventions than I have in the past, but on a grander scale. We're talking like Florida, like Orlando. We're talking New York. We're talking um, Louisiana, Tennessee, California. I mean, the list goes on and on. And we're talking the big conventions, that people flock to, like San Diego Comic Con or those type shows. And it's like, well, what do we do here? It's a great conundrum. It is a it's a great problem to have, you know, when you're looking for sponsors and then one shows up out of the blue. Um, Now I don't know if this person, you know, has watched any of my shows or anything like that, any of my previous live recordings or things, but for him to contact me just all of a sudden out of the blue, you know, it makes you wonder sometimes because things don't just happen for a reason sometimes. But like they say, some things do happen for a reason. Just like you meet people in your life for a reason, and they're there for a season or they're there for a lifetime. You know, it's kind of like my ex-wives. They were there for a season. You know, and on both of them, we were supposed to be destined to be together forever, but that's not what happened. And it's it boils down to what is going to be best for me and my company because I still retain the rights to my company. That does not that's not in dispute. Like I said, it's just like when Image Comics was created. Each individual creator retained their copyright to each of their product. You know, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Valentino, Eric Larson. The list goes on and on. And even David Finch, you know, Brett Booth, Marat Michaels, Al Garza. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that have been through Image Comics and created a title in there. Brian Denham, who now is editor in chief of Antarctic Press, and we chit chat online, Brian Denham and I, periodically. I'm not saying on a daily basis, but we talk periodically. Uh, just like I talked to uh, Michael Michael Linsner, the Dawn creator, you know, or Dawn creator. We chat periodically, and it's just like one of those things that you know Dawn. Let's take Dawn for example. She's been under the Image moniker title as well, but you've got you've got opportunities, you know. And even like when we talked, he was even like, yeah, I do not claim the rights to your characters or anything like that. But what I would want is the characters to cross over into each other's timelines. You know, my characters with your characters, this character with these characters, so on and so forth. So everybody gets to see the different characters that are being brought under this moniker. And so it's just like one of those things. It's like It's a great opportunity, no doubt about it. But it's also, I can't say it's a scary venture, but you know, you don't want any weird things to pop up later. That says, "Oh, you're with this guy, so you must be, crazy or whatever, because of who the moniker is under, those type of things. You don't want any weird things to pop up out there, because you don't know everybody's full backgrounds, and you don't want there to be any negative connotations with who you associate with, if that makes sense. And those things could arise. I'm not saying they're going to, but they could. And it's you don't want to shy away from opportunities that arise like this, because like they said, they would be the ones taking care of, you know the booth spaces. They would be the ones taking care of the banners, the table covers, whatever that was needed. And that's what I've been looking for a while now. I've been looking for that one, two, three, four different sponsors to come in. Those millionaires, or you know, the people that have the big companies out there, like a Walmart, or um, a Ream, or uh, you know, different big companies out there that would be like, yeah, we'll take a chance on you, but you're putting our name on your stuff. That's cool. We'll let that happen. Those type things. Because like in fishing, you see all of the sponsors that are on everybody's boats, on their trucks, on their whatever, their trailers, and you've got all the bumper stickers and everything who's sponsoring them. And why do I have two mics? Well, yes, you can ask why I have two mics. This one goes directly to my phone, and this is what you're hearing me on here. Everybody that's on Facebook or YouTube, where I'm recording my broadcast right now, they get to hear me through this mic. So I have two different mics, because this one does not run through my phone. It could, but I don't have it set up that way. I have this one set up so that if I did have a guest on here, they could take up the other mic that's over here being charged up right now, and we could have dual people right there. No problem. I always like to answer questions that arise. And I do have a refrigerator in my office too. And I'm getting me another beverage. Another bevy right here. But like I said, this is a great opportunity, and it's something I have to completely mull over, and I'll even talk to the girlfriend about it, because I haven't even talked to her about it yet. So, and Brisk needs to be one of my sponsors, even if they just supply me with, lemonade and fruit punch, and this new one that the girlfriend likes, the peach pineapple, mango pineapple, I don't know. It's some kind of a tea. But, um, so yeah, it's a lot to consider. It's a lot to take in, because, like I said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those big sponsors out there that can finance the table, because the table rental is the biggest part of getting into the conventions, and that is the biggest money grab right there, because you can spend anywhere between $4 to $1,000 or more just getting a booth at a convention, at a comic book convention. And there are some out there that are user friendly, if you will, because, like, take the Paragould one that Santiago Cirillo puts on, the High On Nation, Scared City Presents, and it is $100 a table, or it was. Now I think it's like 150 or something like that, but it's still doable for someone that wants to get into a horror convention, because he brings in some good guests, and he's a good dude. He's an actor. He was on The Walking Dead, and he's got a lot of acting under his belt as well. Um, Way more than I do. I've only been in two films, and I've got a voice gig on a Power Rangers uh, series that's getting ready to happen. I believe they've already started filming some of it right now in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I was the voice of Champ, one of the bad guys who gets to fight the Power Rangers. And again, it is a fan film. It is a fan series. It's not just a film. It's a series, and they've already got their next series lined up after this one. So I'm hoping to get some more voice gigs going for them as well. On that note, so not only am I an actor, a voice actor, but I'm also an illustrator, both of digital on the computer, no AI. AI is out for this guy. I don't even use the updated Adobe Illustrator products or Adobe products just because they do have the integrated AI in it. I'm not into that. You know, AI is good for certain things, but not for me. And I know a lot of people love AI and everything that it can do for them. And there are some funny clips out there that are made in AI, like all of the Bigfoot shit, you know. And I am a Bigfoot fanatic. Um, Cryptid fanatic. Let's go that route. But whenever AI is used to draw for you or create for you without you doing, it's just like all the 3D printing stuff. Um, People are having to put this was AI created. You know. Oh, you're already bolting, Roy. Wow, can't even. You've only been on for 20 minutes. That's crazy. That you're gonna jump off here because you've been up all night long, and now you want to go to bed. Tisk tisk tisk. Everybody knows your name, Mr. Roy Joe Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt Bradley Twilight Jr. A sweesome day? Is that supposed to be an awesome day? Yeah, go get you some sleep. You got to stop drinking so early in the morning as well. But bye, Roy. I mean, if you're gonna jet, you got to jet. Go get that nice little sleep. I'm up for the day, so there you go. Going to go pick up a riding lawnmower today to get it up and running. The person that had it said it's a carburetor issue on it, and so that's an easy fix. And so we're going to go pick that up this afternoon. I'm not sure exactly the time frame, but we're going to go get it today. We got to go get her dad's trailer first. So that'll be fun and exciting in and of itself. And we'll go from there with that because my riding lawn is being a pain in the ass right now. The belt is jumping time, and one of the blades is not affixed in there properly. But no, that's neither here nor there. We will get that all taken care of, and we'll have another riding mower to do some fun stuff with, you know, and turn the other one into just basically a hauler. Take the deck off of it and just use it to ride around the yard in, to haul stuff from the front to the back, like concrete or whatever I need, and keep it up and running and go that route. But opportunities are arising, and that's a good thing. And it also can be a bad thing, you know, because you don't want things to go south. You don't want to get locked into something that you know comes back to bite you in the ass later as well. And it's just like, well, there are potentials to go wrong, just like with anything. I started a business with a guy a long time ago, back in the about 2012, 2013, somewhere in that range, and that turned around and bit me in the ass because of him. He was doing some underhanded, shady shit, and it turned out to be a bad venture. Because again, didn't know his full background, didn't know. I just knew him, acquaintance from this person, and we got to talking. You know, he dabbled in this, and he was a good talker, But that was about it. And then once I started finding out that he was doing some underhanded, shady shit, you know, um, cut him from the company, and then I just basically dissolved that company, just because, you know, he was the spokesperson. I was the one doing all the artwork. So, but once he started doing everything that he was doing, that did land him in jail. At that point in time, it was like, nope, we're done. We're cutting ties with you. And then basically, I just kind of dissolved that company, like I said. And I don't want that same thing to happen here in this opportunity venture. Now, with that being said, since I am retaining the rights to all of my characters, since I am retaining the rights to all of my stuff, and just putting it under a moniker, uh, just like Image Comics, that's not where it's going, but it's the same premise of those type of things. Um, it it does lend itself in a lucrative way, if you will. And so there's just a lot to think about with this new opportunity that's been handed to me. That's been, like I said, dropped into my lap. And these are the type of opportunities you look for and you don't want to miss, because it's one of those things that you want to happen, but you want it to happen in such a way that it doesn't fuck up, you know, and you don't get fucked in the process, if that makes any sense. And so, I'm mulling it over. I'm contemplating it. I'm seriously thinking about it, but I've got to look at the pros and the cons to it all. And I mean, it's like I said, it's a great venture. It's a great problem to have. But on the same token, you know, are my pros going to outweigh my cons? Are my cons going to outweigh my pros when it comes down to it? And so, but again, this is the opportunities for sponsorships that I'm looking for that just got dropped into my lap on Saturday. And like I said, I haven't even talked to the girlfriend about it yet, because I've been processing it and just mulling it over and trying to figure out what is best and what is the best route to take with this. So, I'm excited. I'm anxious with it as well. Um, but the good news as well is that if it does take off the way we think it could, then it's a lucrative thing for everybody that gets involved, just like Image Comics. Now, like they said, the only thing that I would be responsible for is the printing of my own stuff, which is fine. I have no issues with that. Um, Especially once I get some of this other stuff out of the way that I'm dealing with personally, um, then that's going to be a lot easier to manage and handle. So, but the opportunities are there. The opportunity to put my comics under a company moniker and have them sponsor everything is exciting. It's a great thing. It's a great feeling to have, but it's also you're apprehensive with it all. What can go wrong on the back end? What can happen? What will people think associating with this person? Those type of things. So it's just a lot to think about, and that's all I've been doing for since Saturday, since I got the phone call, is thinking about this. So here it is, Monday, the 21st, and I'm still thinking it over. You know. So there's that. But yesterday was the passing of Chester Bennington. Make sure you get this painting. This is the original 101. Or get a t-shirt, or even get a canvas print of this piece. This turned out better than I was expecting it to do, and it's practically a life-size piece because I mean, look at this thing. It lines up with my hands. So I don't know how big of a guy he was in reality, you know, but his voice was huge, you know. But get that painting while you can, or again get a canvas print of it, or a T-shirt there of that as well. And this is what the shirt would look like if you were to don it right now. Actually, someone is going to be ordering this shirt soon, and so that is exciting in and of itself. But here it is in shirt form. This is what it would look like on the shirt right there. So there you go. Wonder Woman is becoming a fan favorite as well. The Joker, this first one right here, is my most popular seller to date. Right here, based off of the painting, which is sitting right here. This needs to go into somebody else's hands as well. But this painting right here is what inspired that shirt. And you can own it or a canvas print there of it as well. I'm probably going to be introducing a couple more shirts into the whole line. And everything that I have a shirt on will have a print form of it as well. Meaning there will be a canvas print and an 11 by 17 print of that. Now, I'm also going to be working in sticker form as well because people like their stickers for everything. Those that like stickers, you know. I've been thinking about magnets and the car scent things, the hang off your rear view mirror, you know, that put that cherry blossom into your car or you know whatever, those type things. Um, Different scents. And I've been thinking about those too because people like those too. It displays your artwork and it makes your car smell good. So, but with the stickers, I'm going to be sticking with about the 4-inch sticker because anything under that is just no sense in having that. So from now on, my stickers are going to be 4-inch stickers, um, which is pretty good size. If I had my little handy dandy right here, I'd pull it up. But I think it's about this size right here. If I had to guess, it's close. This is bigger than 4 inches, but this is about the size. You know, if you look at it, 4 inches is bigger than that. So, you know, this is about the size sticker that you're going to be getting from now on from our studio, 412 Productions. And just because I've done multiple different sizes, you know, and then I started moving into the bigger sizes. Um, and once I got to the basically the 4-inch size, that was the size that looked the best, you know, for the artwork. And and that was two of the sizes that I did out of all my stickers was the 4-inch with the Stop Squatching Me and my Batman Who Laughs homage to the 1966 March 11th edition of Life magazine with Adam West on the cover. You know, so I did an homage to that cover. If you don't know what it is, you can go look it up. It is Adam West as Batman on the front cover of Life magazine. This says Mad New Worlds of Batman, Superman, and the Marquis de Sade. You know, so Batman makes a mighty leap into national popularity, is what it says on the cover. So, March 11th, 1966, 35 cents for a Life magazine back in the day. Sucker was massive book, too. I mean, the thing is like this tall. A Life magazine, you know, big magazine for only 35 cents. Ah, to have a time machine and go back to certain dates in time and pick up certain books and keep them pristine, you know, bring them back with you. But I don't know how they would travel, you know? I mean, seriously. How, I mean, would you have to put them in a vault that has your name on it and have a key for yourself later on? I mean, or do you pack them in the time machine and bring it all back with you? But you got to have the money of the day too, so that's another issue. Um, unless you just become a thief of the day, which wouldn't be a good idea, because then your picture's out there as a wanted poster uh, for all time's sake, you know. But then you change timeline and history, with everything. So, you know, it just becomes craziness at that point in time. But yeah, no, to have certain books and magazines from back in the day that you really wanted, or wanted a pristine copy of, that those are the things that you would want to go back for. But then some people would just go back to change timelines and everything like that. And I get that, because there are certain things that you would want to tell yourself not to do, but you would also want to tell yourself, hey, invest in this, invest in this, invest in this. And when you get older, stay in school, do good in college, go to college, those type of things. Or if you've had yourself set up in these investments, college isn't even an offer because the money would already be there. Like if you invested in Walmart stock when it first came out, Walmart stock divided so many times. That's how so many people became millionaire off of Walmart stock, back in the day, the 70s and 80s, you know, and early 90s. And once the mid 90s hit, it stopped dividing. So, I think it's divided one time since that point in time. But all the way up to that point in time, it was dividing all over the place. And that's how people became millionaires off of Walmart stock, you know. And there's other stocks out there that you can do that. I don't play the stock market anymore, um, because I haven't found anything that's hit, on a good basis. So I play my comic stock market and go from there. Um, Probably be liquidating some comics here soon as well. Stuff that I don't collect, stuff that came to me, you know, by way of some friends, and it's just a lot of stuff that I don't collect, and so it's just sitting here. I've got box upon box. If you look behind me down over here, which you can't really see across the room over there, I've got an entire wall of comics over there. I think the last count I had 28 boxes of comics, and that's mainly long boxes. So that's a lot of comics. In the collection that I got from the friends, it was a little about 3,000 comics. Right off the bat, and I already had a bunch myself. So you know, and it's DC and Marvel, and there's no independence in there. There's not even the stuff that I got was straight DC and Marvel of the Bronze Age era, which is 74 to 82, I believe, is the Bronze Age. So yes, there was some cool books in there, you know, as I have them sitting right here. I have them right here. Do I have them right here handy? Boom, boom, boom. Maybe, maybe not. Got to get through all my Uncanny X-Men 600s first. I think they're coming up. Where do I want to put these so they don't get jacked up? Right there. There. Where did I move them out of this stack? I thought they were in this stack. I'm not seeing them in this stack. Oh, oh, oh. There somewhere. They don't go too far from my site, just because they're expensive comics. Yeah, okay. They're not here. They're not in this stack of stuff, so they've got to be right here somewhere. But that's okay. I was going to show you which ones they was, but I do not readily see them available at this present juncture. Um, and that's fine. They're here somewhere. Just makes me a little nervous because they are expensive comics. here somewhere. They're around here somewhere. But Hulk 181, 182, those type things. The first appearance of Thanos on Iron Man number 55 is in that selection of books. Uh, all expensive titles right there, and they're in still great shape. Um, Probably, I couldn't give you a grade right off the top of my head, but probably in the 8 point to 9 point range on the Hulk 181. Those type of things. Just because of the way the person stored them, and we're assuming he was a hoarder, those type of things. But it is what it is on that note. But I own it again. That one is not going away. I will be holding on to it probably till the day I die. I will get it graded at some point in time, but I'm trying to let the controversy with uh, CBC or CBG or whichever one it is to die down. Just because there is some controversy with them, uh, to the tune of them taking the inside cover and replacing it with, or taking the inside book, removing the cover, putting the cover back on a different book of lower quality, but still giving you the same rating. Especially with you know, a high profile book like Hulk 181, 182, um, those type things. And so that's one of those things that I would want to be there to watch them do the book 100%. And, but that's not how it works. You send the books into them, they grade them after looking them all over, or if you're having them pressed, which I would have these pressed professionally. Um, and then from there, they take and encapsulate it for forever. They give it they look it all over. They flip through the pages, look at the colorization of the inside pages. They look at the front and back to make sure that there's no real creases, anything like that in the book. And then they will give it a grade, encapsulate it for forever with that grade on it, and they send it back to you. Um, but again, it's a sketchy situation just because of the things that they can do to it while they've got it in their possession. And I've heard some horror stories from different people, on different books that they've had graded. And then they've heard the same stories about people that have gotten their books back, and obviously there was something askew with it, or they wouldn't have even questioned it. So, but my cover is pretty iconic because the person that had these books gave it like a little catalog number and unfortunately wrote on the front cover. But a key issue like that, CGC doesn't care, about a mark as long as it's not marked all over the entire cover. And there is one that I do have like that is a Green Lantern, I believe, that someone colored all over the entire cover, which makes it worthless, 5-cent comic at best, even though it is a classic comic book from the 70s or 80s, you know. But as long as it's a key issue and there's just a little mark on it, as long as it's not covered up all over the thing, all over the cover, CGC really doesn't care. It's the overall quality of the book, including the inside pages that they look at. So one of these days I'll get it graded, get them graded, and go from there with it all. Um, and it's like, well, and then you got idiots like this guy showing up in the comments who just wants to be an ass and talk about stupid shit that has no relevance to the show. Go take your shit to the road and enjoy your day. And But thanks for the comments. You're a dickhead, but thanks for the comments. Oh, good lord. People are idiots, especially this guy, you know. And obviously, he likes to copy and paste as much as possible. And he has no real thoughts in his head, out there. So, but, CGC is a decent entity, and they started out good with good intentions. And, you know, and so that is the whole process of it all, you know. And by the time it all goes through, you want to make sure that everything went through correctly. And from that point in time, CGC is supposed to take care of the books, 100%. And at that point in time, when CGC does come in with those type of things, it is all about a protection process, you know. And from there, it is they have your book at their mercy, you know. And I'm glad you've learned how to cut and paste. That's awesome. I'm glad you finally figured out how to use that. So it's idiots like this that come into people's shows, and you know, and he will get blocked. So don't worry about that. That is the stuff that CGC is looking for. They're supposed to protect your books whenever it gets there, because you send them a pristine book like the Job 3 cover right here that I did in painting form, and this one could come back at a 9.8, if I had to guess. Something pretty high. And from there, it would be encapsulated for forever, you know. And so with that in mind, you hope they don't go in there and change some things in here. But, you know, that is the chances you take whenever you send something off to someone else to be graded, you know. And then from there, it all just boils down to, them continuing to respect your book, you know. And that's what you hope happens. So from there, you just hate the horror stories that you hear from people that get their books back from CGC. And, oh, I'm stolen valor. Yeah, I'm military. I'm a disabled veteran, you dickhead. You can go take a fucking hike. All right? And so, with all of that stuff, you want them to take care of your stuff. Especially if you send in 5, 6, 10 books at a time to their company. And all of that good stuff. So, 100%. And from that end of it all, you don't want to see what has happened to other people out there when it comes to them having their stuff switched out in the piece out there, you know. And that does happen. And it has happened because we've seen it happen. A lot of people have talked about it, especially on the comic forums and things like that I'm in. They also have talked about that from their standpoint, how they've had books that have been changed and all of that good stuff have happened, you know. And so from that end, they are leery about sending in more books at that point in time, you know. And so when that happens, they don't want to send in their stuff. They even have it hard to find going to a comic book convention. And from there, whenever they hand a book over to a CGC grader at a comic book convention, then they will um, want to stand there and watch them with their book, you know, just because of all that good stuff. And so, you know, it is one of those things that it's hard, one of those discerning things that you don't want to take for granted when it comes to it. So, just because it's happened to them, it might not happen to you, you know. But whenever you have some high profile comic books, you know, sitting around that you want to get graded, at that point in time, you also don't want it to be destroyed by CGC in some form, fashion, or another, you know. And at that point in time, it just comes down to it that you just want to hold on to it and how it is, you know. Screw getting it graded, you know, on that end. But so it's just a lot to think over whenever you do send in a comic book to get graded, you know, 100%. And it's just like everything else that we're contemplating here. And, you know, we have the sponsorships availability that's getting ready to happen. And again, mulling that over and thinking it over just to make sure that you don't get screwed over in the process with it all, you know, because you got to watch who you associate yourself with. And, you know, um, so from there, there's just a lot to think about. And so we will be thinking, and I have been thinking about it since it happened, you know, and so it's just a lot to consider, you know, and then you're idiots of this world that like to come onto other people's broadcasts and make an ass of themselves, you know, and continue to make an ass of themselves. It's all just fun. It's all just fun because, like I said, they will be blocked. No worries there. And you know, if they try to come on as another entity, that'll get blocked as well. So enjoy your time while you can, right there. So you know, and oh no, it gets viewed a lot there, buddy boy. So no worries there. All of my shows do. So you have fun with your little time that you have. So there you go. Oh, we're getting back into the Antarctic Press stuff with Mr. Ben Dunn. We have 5 to review right now, and luckily there is a hiatus in there, and you know, he is at the going to be at a convention for a couple weeks, 2 different ones, and so from there I have a chance to get caught up because Friday there was supposed to be a drop, but he did not drop a new comic title for us to review, just because you know he is again at those conventions. So there you go. So we will have a chance to catch up on that end and go from there. So, and that is the cool stuff because I do, like I said, I do have 5 titles to cover already, and I need to get those recordings going and moving on. So, you know, and from that end, just a lot of stuff to think over. I'm coming close to the end of this book cover, front and back. Um, they're looking killer. He likes the back cover so far. And so that's pretty awesome on that venture. So, it's once I get the cover to it made up, it will be awesome. It'll be great. So, but we're looking forward to all the new stuff that's happening. And once I get some things out of the way, um, it'll be a lot easier in the future. Uh, just because we are in the process of moving things around to get them made up correctly. Just like our new prints and things like that with the canvas prints and the 11 by 17 prints and the t-shirts. That'll be the new stuff that you'll see at these shows whenever we do make our run at 2026 whenever we hit the comic book conventions. So there you go. And that is the exciting stuff that we're looking forward to. And please, if you haven't liked, shared, and followed already, please do so. And you can also hit me up on all my other social medias as well, because you can go to my website and find them there. So that is that. Um, we will be removing the idiots banter off of the page as well. So there you go. But with all that being said, opportunities are there. Opportunities are available. And, you know, excuse me, we are looking forward to that. Just because this is what we've been wanting is the sponsorships that we've been finding and been getting. And we are looking at it seriously, considering it hard and seriously on that end. Just because you don't want to miss any opportunities, you know, on that same token. And with that, it's like, how do you contemplate it all? All the stuff that was dropped in your lap on the Saturday phone call, you know, and but then there's other things to consider with it all as well. So, you know, that is how it goes. You just gotta mull it all over. You just gotta think about it all, and you gotta go from there because you can't always just jump headlong into things. You know, I've done that one too many times, and some of it's worked out for me pretty well. But then on the other token, some of it hasn't worked out very well for me as well. So, you know, those type of situations and things like that you have to completely look at, and you just want to make sure you're doing the right things when it comes down to it all. And hopefully, we'll make the right decision when it comes down to it, because it is just sponsorship. It is just table space that they're paying for, um, banners and things like that as well. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking to see and do, and we're looking to get all of that going. But again, it's a lot of mulling over. It's a lot of contemplation. It's a lot of information to process, you know. But you also want to see contracts as well out there, and you're not always going to see the contracts right off the bat because he doesn't even have them ready yet. It's just a fledgling idea at this particular moment. So, so that's a cool thing, and those can work out relatively well sometimes, just like it did for Image Comics. So we will see how it goes. And don't forget, yesterday was the passing of Chester Bennington. You know, in what was it, 2020? Is that right? I don't think that's right, but it could be right. Don't forget to pick up that painting, or a shirt, or a canvas print, or a 11 by 17 print of that as well. But that is it for today's show. I appreciate each and everybody being here, stopping in, checking out the channel. And again, we will be getting rid of some things off of the page from idiots that pop in for whatever reason and try to disrupt everybody's shows. So, but with that, as I say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.